dude. How's it going? My name is Lonnie, dude. No cap, on God. Absolutely no cap today on my behalf. Check out the Clips channel. Look at it up there. So cute. My son's running this. He's doing a great job. We're uploading 40 videos a day. Subscribe. You can go to LonnieDos.com, dude. We got caps. We got no caps. Take your pick, dude. Okay. Honest to God. LonnieDos do the Fred Figglehorn impression. I can't move that fast. I'm moving different, but not like that. I don't move that way. I can't. I would. I can't, though. Let's freaking watch this video. It seems pretty on brand. The most abandoned lost mobile games by Zeepstirred. I don't really know how something can be more abandoned than abandoned. It seems like a kind of a binary thing, like you either are or you aren't. Hello. Let's freaking hear him out, dude. He's got Kingdom Hearts in the thumbnail. I've never played a Kingdom Hearts iPhone game.
Here, and I have a problem to share with you guys.
I've got an answer.
2009 Angry Birds on my phone.
Or at least anger I can lend to the situation. An actor, a comedian? Who is Sinbad? I believe he's a Disney villain.
Recently, and I've been having a lot of fun with it, as it's reminded me of my childhood. The problem here is
when were you born? I guess like 2009? What does that mean? You're like 40? Was that a long time ago? No cap? No fooling?
For other people who might want to play this
it's
game
Angry Bird Man.
They are not going to have the ability to play the original because
are these going to be like games that are hard to play? Okay, I guess that makes sense. All right. He already answered my main complaint.
And that's where Zeep comes in.
Semantics.
You know, there's been a lot of lost mobile games ever since the invention of the cell phone.
Bro, you got Wide Sora, you got Super Unicorn Attack.
You cannot download by normal means anymore. This is going to be really interesting, guys.
Sonic on the flip phone.
Heavy level nostalgia for all of you. Once again, I'm Zeepstirred.
Dude, you got Wide Sora. You got
all of you
this
guys.
guy.
If you like this video, get this to 5,000 likes.
What is that? And what?
For a potential sequel to this.
All
and
right.
Of course, subscribe to Zeepstirred.
You putting a condom on the horse, dude? Running Fred?
Right to it.
I could be down to play that today. As soon as I get it on my freaking LG Blackberry 2.
You guys want to see something really trippy? So Kingdom Hearts, one of my favorite video game series of all time. So in order to understand Kingdom Hearts VCast.
If you've never played Kingdom Hearts before, it's like Final Fantasy, but with Mickey Mouse, and it's like half and half. It makes absolutely no sense. So you get this guy, and he's very like emo, and he goes and fights like monsters, but also like Larry the Cable Guy from Cars.
You need to know background information about the first game. The first game,
that's all you gotta know.
A little rough around the edges.
No, the first game's great. What do you mean?
Listen, when it came
it doesn't have cars in it.
Back when I was like 4 or 5 years old, I was more attached to the Disney characters rather than all the Final Fantasy stuff. I would really dread trying to do anything with the actual plot, and would really aspire to hang out with Donald and Goofy and explore like the Aladdin and Nightmare Before Christmas world.
Hell
I remember around this time in 2004 and 2005.
This was the Game Boy game, right?
Memories had come out for the Game Boy Advance, followed shortly by Kingdom Hearts 2 in 2005, which I was also impressed by.
Yeah, they should have just stopped while they were done cooking. They were done cooking. Get out the kitchen.
One for your cell phone.
Oh.
That's right. There was a Kingdom Hearts game for cell phone devices.
Not my goofy ass wanting to play this one mostly bad of all. Let me freaking play this one.
Released in 2004.
What kind of phone do I have to buy?
That is considered to be
lost. Do you still have those giant scissors? Absolutely.
Verizon wireless broadband service VCast. And if you happen to be signed up for it, you have the ability to download the game.
Verizon
VCast is that it wasn't actually developed by Square Enix. It was developed by the actual Disney company.
Disney.
Just look at the footage for this. Isn't this like gnarly? It's kind of like oddly like mesmerizing in a way.
It looks like shit.
Game to stress something. Apparently, this entire thing is not canon. I know. If you happen to be familiar.
What do you mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean in the Kingdom Hearts canon? It's all canon. Not this one. He jumps off the BlackBerry iPhone.
Whatsoever.
And there's a parrot on it.
So Sora, Donald, and Goofy decided to go to sleep after traveling
together
across the universe in their gummy ship. They put the gummy ship in autopilot.
How close were they laying? Did their feet touch?
And suddenly, while they're sleeping, the creature creeps up.
See, like, look at how scary these fucking things are, juxtaposed with literally Donald Duck.
And Goofy,
this point has been made before. I'm not saying anything new. Holy shit! Never mind. This is funnier.
Place in the Kingdom Hearts plotline if it even was canon. But if it was canon, it would probably take place during the events of the first game.
What is he doing?
Just in between traveling to these various Disney worlds. Even with the simplicity of these mobile phone controls, Sora's able to move around. Besides running and jumping, he's able to climb trees and...
I'm not gonna lie, the original Kingdom Hearts control scheme was ass to begin with.
Ladders, even grasp the edges of
X
platforms,
should not be
lift and throw objects, and
attack and circle jump, and I guess it wasn't that weird, but it was weird. Oh, it's because the joystick made the menu you go down. That was stupid.
Of the game include Maleficent, Jafar, the caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland, and a couple Heartless. As mentioned prior, the game is really a one of a kind. It was designed as a tech demo to show off the VCast hardware.
Tech demos are $40 sometimes.
That Verizon was trying to push, which eventually ended up not taking off. That being said, to diehards who love Kingdom Hearts, they've been wanting to play this game for nearly 2 decades. So that's why a bunch of them gathered together to try
just
and
play the normal one and make it wider.
Have the pleasure of finally
stretch it out.
Wonderful masterpiece. So this is actually a really awesome story.
This looks like a shitty Roblox game.
And we're hard at work at trying to find the files of this game. A bunch of them, just over time, were able to discover the files, dumping them online, leading to a group effort to finally unveil this game. To quote one of the individuals behind this project, we thought this game was—
She dropped her blood.
Lost forever, but thanks to the community, Kingdom Hearts VCast is truly undefeatable. To some, they may look at this and be like, okay, who cares? But for people like me, and a lot of others who do enjoy the Kingdom Hearts series, this is just an interesting project that has only been recently unveiled just this past February. As mentioned before, seeing the footage of this game is oddly entertaining. Seeing Sora fight Maleficent's dragon and trying to envision what this looked like on a 2004 phone, it's just kind of hilarious. And also as a side note, by the end of the game, of course you save Donald and Goofy, and I just love how Goofy looks here. I think this just perfectly represents why this was all worth it. Truly, hard work really pays off.
Doesn't look right, dude. Olympic Games? Oh, 2010.
Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games 2010. You know, guys, here on the Zeepster channel, we talk about some real
I would play the hell out of that. What is this?
Hard-hitting issues.
Put it on Apple Arcade.
Issues involving a Sonic mobile game from 2010 that basically cut out the Mario section of the games and imported it exclusively to the iPhone, not Android, only for it to be removed almost immediately after its release. Okay, I get it. You may be like, Zeep, why does this matter? Who really cares about Sonic games for the iPhone? Talk about Angry Birds already. Hey, listen to me. We'll get there.
Hey, man. No one cares about Angry Birds, okay? Just my thoughts.
Talking about right now is actually kind of cool, so take a good listen. So first, what do you know about the Mario and Sonic
Look at Mario!
In 2007,
got straight cut out the picture, fresh out the kitchen.
Because there he was, my boy Mario with Sonic, a crossover I really wanted for a long time.
He looked a little too casual in the tank top. Hey, Jordan, this is— now I see what you're saying. This does kind of remind me of Super Smash Bros. Melee. You're right. It just— we weren't there yet.
Added to the character roster. So yes, my little 7-year-old mind ran wild. I mean, sure, it wasn't that RPG between Mario and Sonic that I really wanted, but at least they were doing something together, even if it
besides what they do sometimes together
just
on other websites.
2008 Beijing Olympics,
Whack the Game Club, if that's still around. For real, dude. I don't know if that still exists, or if Apple kind of like cucked it with the Apple Arcade program and the Netflix shit that goes on. I don't know. It might have killed it, but
sports rather than like a story-driven game where they team up to defeat this one big bad guy. So the thing about Sonic at the Olympic Games is that it's actually a sequel to the first one, which came out in 2008.
Wow, that one looks even better, dude. Less graphics, better game.
Graphically, actually not that bad. I like the sprites they use for Sonic. It reminds me of the Game Boy Advance games. You know, like Sonic Advance, those things were tight. The mini games for Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games are kind of like bare bones, but what do you really expect for like a flip phone game?
Do you like Indiana Jones? I've never watched it. TBH.
It's not lost.
I feel like I know the story though.
I can't say the same for its
I've been to Indiana.
In 2010. That thing was gone for like over a decade. Okay, so this game was made to promote the 2010 Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games in Vancouver. But the thing about this title, though, is that it was pulled from iOS for no reason at all. We actually have no idea why this was pulled. Apparently, not even after a week of it being available, it was just removed.
Dang. Who's this guy playing it?
Despite this, there exists gameplay footage of it. Yeah, it looks like your run-of-the-mill Sonic at the Olympics game, video game. So we gotta be real here. Was much lost? Not really.
Come on.
It was really just a lackluster port without Mario. Mario probably does not appear in this iOS version of the game, probably because of Nintendo's feelings towards mobile gaming.
We don't need Mario.
They weren't 100% on board yet. The game was $4.99 on the App Store.
Premium price! No wonder they deleted it. Greedy devs thought we would have noticed.
And according to the comments I have seen of the people who did play this game when it came out, it was pretty bad. You know, with it being touchscreen, a lot of gamers had problems even trying to play this game, seeing it was pretty awkward. It makes you wonder, was
You're playing it on a fucking iPhone 3, dude! Everything was awkward.
The game was lost until the year 2019, when a
random
user was
on your phone?
the file for the game. Really much lost if this game just sucked. The game was lost.
You got what other games you got? Annoying orange. Ice Age Nut Cuddle. I don't know what that is. Coin Dozer with a notification. You better check in, motherfucker. Monopoly.
Until the year 2019, when a random user was
Imagine using Chrome on iOS.
re-uploading it online. It's interesting, really, because the person who uploaded the video of them playing the 2010 version of the game said this 13 years ago. When I first saw the iPhone, I never imagined it would ever play games like this. So much can change in so little time. I know we'll continue to see bigger and better games on the iPhone in the future. And yes, we did. In the year 2020, Sega decided to release a sequel to this game, Sonic at the 2020
Oh yeah,
Olympic
I played
Games.
this one. It was...
And my god, this sequel to this game, the graphics, incredible. The gameplay, way above the days of 2008.
Who the fuck cares?
Phone.
Sorry.
Time moves by fast, everyone.
Epic Sonic game. What up, Board Bako? Robot Unicorn Attack, baby!
Unicorn Attack. In the late 2000s to early 2010s, Adult Swim was really pushing...
Dude, what? Freaking all the Adult Swim games were so cool.
And Android games. I mean, I thought they were pretty cool. There was one called Amateur Surgeon that I was like obsessed with when I was a kid. Basically, you were this back alley pizza delivery guy who'd conduct surgeries on various people, filled with raunchy dialogue, and also a lot of blood. It was basically Trauma Center, but if it was made by Adult Swim. The point I'm trying to get at is that these iOS Adult Swim games were usually pretty good. I mean, I remember in like 2016,
Pocket
me and my
Mortys.
friends were
I mean, that
obsessed
still
with the game
exists,
Pocket
but
Mortys, which had an insane amount of care actually put into it. I mean, the various Morty designs, they were pretty cool. That being said, when it comes to Adult Swim games, there is one that had an insane amount of popularity back in the early 2010s, known as Robot Unicorn Attack. Robot Unicorn Attack's gameplay was fairly simple. It basically would be an endless running video game. You would jump around trying to avoid projectiles and falling down, or else you would just explode. And it was insanely popular. In the first week after the game released, the game had garnered over 1 million plays. Yes, the gameplay was simple, but that's the thing about mobile games. The gameplay was addictive. The soundtrack to the game as well was also very fitting. It was very whimsical. It fit jumping around to your doom and exploding. There were also various alternatives to this game.
It was soon lost.
Edition, a heavy metal.
Yeah, dude, was there actually a Fred game? I feel like there would have been. It was like the right era, but I don't know if I remember it.
Rendition, alongside also a sequel to the game.
I know he had an app, I think, or I don't know why I said I know. I think he had an app.
To customize your unicorn. But here's the thing about the second game. So the song in the first game is called Always by Erasure. In the first one, you could just play and listen to the song for free, because that was basically the only song that game had. However, in the second game, they included in-game purchases, and if you wanted to listen to that song while playing the game, you'd have to buy it for $1. Once a main part of the original game, it was not part of the default package for the sequel, which had a couple people pissed off. A reviewer of the game
for
wrote,
$1?
"I will never be able to separate Always from Robot Unicorn."
You were mad about $1?
Attack.
It's not even like they took it out.
To do such a thing. It would be like decapitating the Mona Lisa. It merges with the sparkles of sound effects.
It would be like asking you $1 to look at the Mona Lisa.
And the explosions of light and makes it complete.
It would be like if they left the Mona Lisa the same and asked you for $1 to continue looking at it.
Not included with the base game is because Adult Swim wanted to make the sequel for free, but in order to do that, they had to cut out Always because of copyright and only include it as an in-game purchase. But yeah, people got upset, although it was like $1 to buy the song. That being said, the nostalgia for this game is through the roof. I mean, if
Greedy
you look at the main
devs.
song Always, the video for it on YouTube has over 3.5 million views. So, what ended up happening to this game? Well, as of 2023, both the first and second games are unable to be downloaded on the iOS, and there are two theories for this. The first is, well, Flash, the program used to make the art style for the game, ended
Bear
up dying
Grylls,
off, leading to Apple to drop support for the game, effectively abandoning it, and Adult Swim pulling it off the iOS and Android shelves. The other theory, well, it bashes on the Pocket Mortys game I discussed earlier. So alongside removing all their older games, which were free, the theory states that Adult Swim is only focusing on microtransactions, that a ton of the Pocket Mortys game, and rather than spending money trying to keep these games up on the App Store, they would rather continue to make money and release games in where in-app purchases are highly endorsed. Now, to those who do watch Adult Swim, they'd probably think like, there is no way Adult Swim removed these games, just because they're no longer to make money off of them, right? Well, it is unfortunately definitely possible. The unfortunate truth here is that Unicorn Attack meant a lot to so many people. I mean, just look at the comments on this video. They go on and on, stating that the song Always reminded them of a time of their childhood and where they felt really happy. This game, which you could no longer download on your phone, although simple, meant a lot to all these people. And although you could play it on the PC again on like an emulator, it just really isn't the same when you're not playing it on your phone.
Probably the same people who didn't pay $1, man.
Oh, why take away all these memories from these people? Well, it all comes down to simply just money.
Money!
Infinity Blade. So before Fortnite was Epic Games' flagship title, there was this little game titled Infinity Blade. And by little, I mean this game was huge. There were 2 sequels, multiple books, an entire fan base for this.
They had freaking those, what are they called? The arcade machines where you could play it in Dave & Buster's? Maybe they still do? I don't know.
My first impression of this game was it really being displayed as a game to show off what the iPhone is capable of.
It kind of looks like Dark Souls,
RPG,
but way better.
In December of 2010, being the first iOS game to run on the Unreal Engine. Basically meaning that this game was going to have better graphics than your usual iOS game. The game would get constant 9 out of 10 to 10 out of 10s across the board, and holy sh**, looking at like gameplay footage of this is like pretty legit. The voice acting, the gameplay, it's wild that this came out in 2010 for the iPhone. Yes, the gameplay may be fairly simple, but I think that works for this iPhone game.
I'm not gonna lie, from the video, it looks exactly like that Sonic game with the snowboarding that they said was bad.
Touchscreen for combat, I believe it has to be simple, or else the entire thing would be chaotic and not really work too well. It was kind of tactical. It could be as defensive as you wanted to be. We could go chaotic mode and just keep on swiping and see what happens. That's what made the game fairly entertaining. It was kind of like a different experience every time you fought. So just by looking at it, you would know that this is a fantasy game. And personally, those games aren't really my cup of tea, but I do have a friend who was obsessed with this game when they were a kid, and they were really engrossed with the world. So yes, the game was popular, you get it. It was advanced, you also understand that too. But over the years, Infinity Blade unfortunately became less and less popular. To critics, they saw Infinity Blade as a fad, as more of a tech demo to show what the iPhone can do. But to others, it meant a lot to them. Some would even go as far to state that without Infinity Blade and another iOS game titled Angry Birds, the push for mobile games in the early 2010s would not have been as fierce. So with such a high level of importance, what happened to Infinity Blade? Well, in 2018, the game Fortnite exploded in popularity. It was by far
Fortnite killed Infinity Blade? What the hell, dude? Why did he do that?
Without warning, on December 2018, Epic Games removed the entire Infinity Blade trilogy, all the while releasing a statement stating that, at Epic, we strive to put players first and to provide a supported, full-fledged experience in every game we publish. It has become increasingly difficult for our team to support the Infinity Blade series at a level that meets our standards. Here's the thing, a lot of people weren't buying this reasoning. Yes, they were stating that they wanted to provide a full-fledged video game experience when it came to Infinity Blade. But with that in mind,
I think they just didn't update it when one of the App Store updates came out.
what was the point of removing it? I mean,
what
sure,
up, depressed man?
Update the game anymore,
who can relate?
Sequels, but that doesn't mean
Hope
you
you're
have
doing
to remove the
relatively
trilogy,
well today.
Right? They could still be up there. The actual reasoning for Infinity Blade's removal was because of Fortnite's immense success.
No, it's because Thanos snapped and turned it off.
Fortnite, Epic became one of the biggest developers of all time, even trying to
create Angry Birds Space is the last one? Interesting. I'm just going to skip ahead a little bit.
Okay, so Angry Birds. It's been pretty big in the news recently. The CEO of the developer company behind Angry Birds, Rovio, once stated that console games were dead, and that mobile gaming was on the way in. Keep in mind, this was in 2011 when mobile gaming was at its peak, and Angry Birds was taking the world by storm. To say Angry Birds was big is an understatement. It basically saved Rovio from going bankrupt with simple gameplay mechanics that just involve you flicking your finger. You see, at the time, the swine flu epidemic
and pissing birdies off. That's not simple.
Was
a lot of birds worked hard on this.
Pigs were seen as the
what
enemies.
a Mongol
Slayer. This wicked virus. Hence,
based like the stream. Hell yeah. Angry Birds have been pretty big in the news recently. Is it fucking 2013? That's what I'm saying. But I guess Sega did buy them.
2 months went by. The game exploded after being #1 on the UK App Store in early 2010. Suddenly, Rovio was back on the map. With such massive success,
he's dead! He's fucking dead!
Suddenly, we had titles such as Angry Birds Seasons, Angry Birds Rio, Angry Birds Friends. All these titles, although slightly different, followed the main Angry Birds gameplay formula. This was until March of 2012, when the game Angry Birds Space came out. Yo, this was actually pretty cool. So there's no longer a flat stage in this Angry Birds game. Instead, you're playing on various planets.
Peace out, Jordan. Thanks for hanging out, dog.
That changes up the physics dynamics.
Someone put in the comments, put a middle finger. That is against my religion.
Talk about Angry Birds
I'm sorry,
Space
man.
while in space.
And of course, Pig is the arch enemy.
Oh shit, that's actually cool as hell.
An Angry Bird had.
This is real?
Man.
I don't believe you.
They even took part in adding a slingshot to the Seattle Space Needle with the red bird on it.
And then they hit the moon with it and fucked around and found out.
The game contains various variations of the existing bird characters, essentially their alter egos while in space. Once the game was finally released, critics scored it highly, being raved as the most ambitious Angry Birds project thus far. In the years that followed, even more Angry Birds titles released, including even 2 Angry Birds movies, and even an official sequel to the first Angry Birds, titled Angry Birds 2, in July of 2015, followed by a lot of spin-offs. The reality was that Rovio did not need to develop any other game because Angry Birds was a cash cow. Problem was, it was too much of a cash cow. The original titles such as Angry Birds Space, Angry Birds Rio 1 and 2, and even the original Angry Birds were deleted off the App Store to make way for the new games that were being released. The original titles were getting too much action that was being deterred away from the sequel games that Rovio decided to step in and remove them. Rovio did not want fans to spend money on the first game. They wanted them to spend money on the second game, which contained multiple microtransactions. Why let the fans buy the first game, which has everything all there, not requiring you to buy anything to get extra content, and instead make fans buy a second game, which requires you to buy stuff in order to get the full experience? Angry Birds Space was just one of the many casualties of the new games they're constantly pushing out. It comes down to this simple fact.
Getting so casual.
Rovio cannot accept that people like the classic games more than the modern ones. The original game...
I don't think they care.
...of the early 2010s that were part of so many childhoods, taken away for grade. To make it even more insulting,
you can still play them on the Nintendo Wii.
A couple years later, they brought back the original Angry Birds
on the App
Store. It may have seemed at first that they came to their senses, correct? Well, by the end of February, they decided to gut the game yet again and release a statement. We have reviewed the business case of Rovio Classics Angry Birds, and due to the game's impact on our wider games portfolio, we have decided that Rovio Classics Angry Birds will be unlisted from the Google Play Store on Thursday,
Had to get
February
it out the paint,
23rd.
man. Make way for the future.
To Red's Fist Fight in the App Store, pending further review. So there it is, the entire reasoning right there.
Used to watch you every day back then, your app vids? Hell yeah. Appreciate you watching back in the day. Hope you are doing well. He's just talking about Angry Birds for the rest of this, but shout out to freaking Zeepster. This was a pretty cool video. Got some old lost mobile games of the past, which there's an always growing number of. Pretty cool. I mean, sad, but cool video. If you're watching this as a YouTube video later, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Helps me out a lot. I always appreciate it, dude. No cap, on God. Peace out. Have a good night.